All right, we're talking about Big Man Blast in this one. And it's been about, I don't know, like 2 months or something since I last talked about him. And it's not just me that loves him. You guys love Blast too. I mean, the analytics on this guy just speaks for itself. He's like almost as popular as Saitama is. And hey, he's mysterious, powerful, and intriguing. And of course, that comes with a whole bunch of speculation and just endless talk about this guy, considering that we haven't seen him yet. So if you follow the channel, you know that I made plenty of videos. I even have a playlist dedicated to this guy. So that means I just want to mainly use this video for things that I haven't talked about, or I just haven't talked about enough with this guy. But also, being an explained video, I need to explain who he is, first of all, mainly for the newcomers, people that just aren't acquainted with Blast yet. So I'll do that quickly, and then I'll go into more of the deeper questions that probably haven't been answered yet. So first of all, this guy is the S-Class Ranked 1 hero, and we have yet to see him present day in the story. In fact, we've only seen him twice so far in the manga, and both in what I guess are flashbacks. We see him in Chapter 84, and when we see him recently in Chapter 119, where we got a pretty good look at him from the back, unfortunately, but we could see that he's a big, muscular dude with spiky hair, a form-fitting suit, and then a cape. So he has like that generic kind of superhero look to him, but with like a manga aesthetic tinge to it. Now, other than us just not knowing anything about this guy, the Hero Association apparently doesn't know anything about him either, because he did not register his personal information with them, and they just basically only know his hero name, and he kind of just comes and goes as he pleases. And he's able to have this special treatment because the Hero Association just deems him that valuable. But apparently, there are a select few members of the Hero Association who are actually able to contact this guy, at least according to Sekengar. So when they contact him, it's really up in the air if he'll even come. But apparently, there is a guaranteed time when Blast will make his appearance, and that is allegedly when humanity really does need saving, at least according to Sitch. So with that, we can figure out a few things. So first of all, Blast will come out when there's basically like a disaster level god threat, I guess, because the surface level definition of it is a threat to humanity. So that might be lining up with Sitch is saying, or it just means that when the S-Class is no longer able to deal with a certain threat, he's just going to have to come out and clean up the mess, because it's not like he doesn't want to do it. He does want to save humanity. It's actually implied that he's like the very first hero that there was. Now, I'll go more into why that is in the latter portion of the video when I go into spoiler stuff, but right now I just want to clear manga stuff. So another thing that we can assume off of this information is that Sitch is one of those few association members who might be able to talk to Blast, because the stuff that he's saying here is apparently only coming from him, or at least it's implied that it is, meaning that he's probably talked to Blast in person, some way or another. And as for Blast's current status, well, according to Sekengar, he is quote-unquote semi-retired, and this makes sense because the last recorded appearance of Blast, or at least as far as we know, was 2 years before the current time in the story, when he had defeated Elder Centipede but failed to capture him. So another thing that the semi-retired means is probably lining up with what Sitch said about him only coming out when humanity truly needs it. So it's like, yeah, he's not going to take care of anything unless it's like he is absolutely needed for it. Other than that, he's just basically retired. So now let's go into one of the most popular questions about Blast, and that is, why is he called Blast? And that's a fair question because we've seen that most of the S-Class heroes' names correlate to more or less what they're all about. So some people speculate that Blast's name comes from him being related to Bang and Bomb, because, you know, Bang, Bomb, Blast. I personally don't think this is the case, and that's because there's never been any kind of mention, not even remotely close to a mention of him being related to Bang and Bomb in any way, not like a martial arts kind of connection, or even Bang and Bomb even mentioning Blast or any kind of relation to him at all. So I think that's unlikely. But I think I have figured out why Blast is called Blast. So if we go to the data book, the portion where we have Blast's info is narrated by Fubuki. And she says that he can shoot lasers from his eyes and rules over psychic powers and has the ability to command trillions of robots. Now, is this information true, or is Fubuki just over-embellishing the legend of Blast and being hyperbolic? Well, I personally think it is true. I don't think one would just add this info to the databook just for no reason or just to lie. I think there is some truth to this, and that means that I think Blast's name comes from him being able to shoot lasers from his eyes, which means that that's probably like his most prevalent method of attack, because it is a blast after all. And this leads me to another popular question about Blast, and that is, what are his abilities? So I think we might be seeing them right here. So first of all, shooting lasers from his eyes, and then if we go to the next line of rules over psychic powers, that could be taken a few ways. So either that means that he's just so overwhelmingly physically powerful that espers, like Tatsumaki, just cannot control him. Or it means that he himself has some kind of esper and or psychic powers, meaning that he might be able to fly or something like that. And then as for the ability to command trillions of robots, I don't really know. Either this means that he has an arsenal like Metal Knight, or he has like some kind of nanobot things going on. This one really confuses me, but I'm sure we'll see in the future if there is a merit to this. But as for the flying and the eye lasers, that sounds familiar, right? Because it's like Superman. And we've also seen what Blast looks like, and he has a very similar aesthetic to Superman, so I'm thinking that Blast is one's allegory for Superman in this story. I mean, he's also S-Class Rank 1, the same way that, Superman kind of is in the Justice League. So that goes into his abilities, meaning that I think he's more or less just has the same set of powers that Superman has. I mean, not every single one, of course, but mainly he just has superhuman strength, superhuman speed, superhuman durability, can probably fly, and then he has the lasers that he can shoot out of his eyes. So now at this point, I want to go into webcomic spoiler stuff, which means that we're going to go past what the manga is currently at. So if you don't want to know what's going to happen, I suggest you check out now. So 18 years before the current time in the story, we see Blast actually do something, which proves that he is in fact a real person and not just a myth. Because he saves Tatsumaki, who is of course a child at this time, from this experimental lab facility, who's using her as a test subject and trying to figure out more about her esper abilities. But during this time, we also get way more insight into Blast than we really ever had, because he actually legitimately says some dialogue. Some things like revealing that being a hero is just a hobby to him and that he has a quote-unquote proper job. So that's interesting, right? Very similar to the demeanor that Saitama has. And he also says that when the time comes, don't go expecting someone to save you. So that more so goes into why he only really comes out when he wants to and when the humanity truly is in peril and they need it. Because he doesn't want to always clean up everybody's spilled milk. He kind of just wants everybody to take matters into their own hands. Now, this also goes into the thing that I was talking about Fubuki in the data book, because, of course, Fubuki is Tatsumaki's sister. So therefore, I assume that she's probably met Blast, considering that Tatsumaki has, and if anybody would know what Blast's abilities are, it's Fubuki, considering that, allegedly, she probably met him. Now, in the webcomic, we also get another big feat on Blast, and that's 3 years after he saved Tatsumaki. He apparently defeated the leader of the ninja village, the very same ninja village that Flashy Flash and Sonic came from. And this guy is also regarded as the strongest ninja to ever live. So that's giving us more insight into how outrageously powerful Blast is, if in theory he is defeating someone who could be stronger than what Flashy Flash currently is. Now, aside from all of that, let me just go into why Blast is semi-retired right now. So we know that the Hero Association was established 3 years before the current time in the story, and then the S-Class was discovered sometime after that, 6 months or something around that time. But it was also stated that Genos was the first S-Class hero in 2 years, and that lines up with Blast's last recorded appearance, fighting Elter Centipede. So I guess that's why he went into semi-retirement, because he discovered the S-Class, and he was like, okay, you guys can take it from here. You guys no longer need me, and that's lining up with the when the time comes, don't expect someone to come save you, namely himself. So in the meantime, unless the S-Class can take care of something, that's when he's going to come out. But yeah, that's pretty much everything about Blast, aside from going into crazy speculation territory, but I have made videos about that. So if you would like way more info on this guy, such as how powerful I think he is, who he could be, and what the story has for him, in my opinion, of course, please check out my Blast playlist, which I'll have featured at the end of this video. But yeah, that's it, and I hope you enjoyed this one. I know a lot of you already know all of this stuff, but maybe there was some new stuff in here that you didn't think about. And then of all of the new people, I hope that this entertained you and educated you as well. So if you liked it, guys, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll